All right, so Jules, do comments on social media affect you?
No, but they used to. Yeah, they did, but not anymore.
Good.
What about you?
You know what? Sometimes I used to want to respond to comments, but now I'm just like, say what you want, mate. It's all good.
Hello and welcome back to Life After Prison with Zach and Jules. Today, in this episode, we're going to dive into some social media comments, something that we haven't really done on the podcast before. And all of these comments are based on one video where we're discussing relationships when somebody's been to prison or if they're in prison now.
Do you think, people will be put off with you having served time in prison?
Relationship-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think... I don't know whether it's because I'm a female.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but I think there's elements to it. So it could be not a very feminine thing.
Mm-hmm.
So guys might be put off by that. It might.
I don't agree.
Good. That gives us girls hope. I think that's one. I think also. What is it put off?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's potential for it too. But obviously the person that I'm looking for and that I want to be with, it won't put them off. And precisely. It can show other kind of strengths and things that go with that. So yeah. What about you?
I'm 50-50 because this might sound wrong, but some women like it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, you used to be a bad boy. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? But they're like, well, you're not now, though. I'm not, nah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it can be either way. Sometimes it can put people off. They think, or they would second guess whether you're still involved in that kind of lifestyle.
I guess a trust thing as well.
Yeah. And
which is annoying because...
A little bit.
That must be so annoying for you.
Proper.
But again, like I think some guys like girls going to prison, but I think I don't know if they actually do. I think on like the surface, they might be like, oh my God, yeah, serious? And then like deep in it, they're probably like, nah.
I really like that response because one, what else can you do about how someone feels about you being in prison? Yeah, or spent time in prison. That's the first thing. You can't change what they think. Or you can, and if someone feels that way, then they're not right for you anyway. You know what I mean? So it's a part of who you are. It's not who you are, but it's a part of who you are on your journey. You know what I mean? So if that's the problem for someone, keep it moving.
Well, thank you for your response.
Yeah, not because at the same time, it's happened to me before.
I don't think we did flip the question.
Yeah, no, it's happened to me before where I'm like, yeah, by the way, I spent time in prison. Like, they're like, oh, what, just the once? I'm like, 3.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, I'll see you later. Bye. It's happened before.
My answer hasn't. We did this video quite a long time ago as well.
Yeah.
So my answer hasn't changed.
That's
I think
good.
people would still be put off, but whatever.
Is
it what it is?
It is what it is. But today we're going to respond to the comments that people made on this actual clip. And this is the first time we've ever done anything to do with comments.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to be able to, one, put our side to it because we don't really get involved as much.
Yeah.
But two, also get involved in the conversation too, So,
well, this video attracted a lot of comments.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to be able to dive into this one.
Yep.
So first comment we're going to discuss is, well, it depends on the situation and why you were in there, but practically prevents you both from building a life, getting approved mortgages, visas, and if you want to live abroad, loans, etc.
Okay. A lot to break down in that.
Yeah.
Because first thing that sticks to mind to me is the visa thing, yeah? And to some extent that's true for certain countries, Canada, America, Middle East.
Wait.
And maybe, yeah?
You're listing quite a few Are you 100%? Are you talking about
having a criminal record?
Would prevent you from going...
Getting a visa to enter the country.
Are you, how sure are you about
listen,
that?
so
depending on the crime, right?
Depending on the offence and depending on how long it was and whatnot, yeah? So when you're trying to get a visa to these places, like if you don't declare it and they find out, you're getting turfed and you're getting straight back on the next plane back.
And if you do declare it,
you might be refused.
Okay.
You know, and that's a reality. So for example, and the only reason I say that
you've listed a few more countries that I wouldn't have probably put on there. Yeah,
I'm saying not just a visit. I'm talking if you wanted to move, then settle down.
Fine.
Yeah. Sometimes visiting too. Yeah. The majority is for visit, but I'm saying if you wanted to settle down long term, maybe go for a new career elsewhere, they do those kind of checks, right? So that could affect that if you had a partner that maybe really wanted to relocate. Yeah. And that actually happened to me once. So there was someone I was chatting to and they were like, yeah, I want to go and be a teacher in the Middle East. Like, and I was like, oh, okay. Like,
but I think everybody's case is very individual. You need to go through the process and find out for yourself.
Yes.
I'm just a big believer of think positive. Even though I haven't tried with certain areas, and I do have that in the back of my head, oh, I'm going to struggle to get in this country. I'm going to struggle to get in that country. But I haven't been through the process, so I can't comment fully on that.
All right, so please comment if you have been through the process and if you've ever been denied a visa for any reason to deal with an offence of the past.
Yeah, but also you're going to have to, every case is very individual.
Yeah, well, I do know a lot of my friends have gone to America. Some have been in Canada. I don't know if or what the process was or how it worked, but they ended up being there. So, you know, there is hope. There is hope. It's not like a straight no. But what I have found is, I know they never mentioned it, but you know, like insurance, having a
it does.
Conviction affects that.
And I do agree. It can get in the way, let's say, but there are insurers and lenders that will help you out.
Yeah.
And you can go through the process with them.
Definitely. But it does make it,
does
make it more challenging.
Yeah.
But I'm saying building a life. So like mortgage, things like that, I don't know why, yeah? But like, it was really hard for me to get a business bank account. Really challenging.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've had to pay more insurance for certain things. But I think if you're a little bit smarter and you ask more questions and you find certain people, there are ways.
Yeah.
But the comment was, it prevents you both building a life.
Okay. That bit. So,
basically.
Okay, let's break down that.
And wait, my comment on this is, there are so many things in life that are going to be challenging. People go through so much, right? It could be absolutely anything, but relationships are hard. You have to work together, sacrifice certain things if you want to be with that person. Always. There's always compromising. So if I don't think my conviction is preventing me from building a life, then I hope my partner would feel the same.
I agree with you fully on that. Preventing building a life is a bit wild. And then you list all them things.
Yeah.
I get it in certain situations or certain elements, potentially. But to like say that as a blunt statement, I think that this person's a bit, I think they've gone a bit too far in terms of it's going to prevent you building a life together. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it just makes certain things a bit more challenging depending on what you want to do.
And we've both experienced that, there are challenges. But I think there's going to be challenges in...
Regardless.
So this is just something that we've got to accept.
Yeah. So in general, I agree with certain things, certain elements, but the actual statement that it prevents you, nah, I don't agree. But let us know what you think too. Yeah? So let us know what you think about that.
Yeah, and there are loads of insurers and lenders that will help you out if you've got a criminal conviction. So don't worry. And we also discuss this topic, disclosing your conviction, in other episodes. So check them out. We're going to put the link in the description.
The next comment that we wanted to get into is someone saying, guys aren't put off by anything. Girls are okay to date men after prison, but men don't want ex-criminals. Bit controversial, innit?
Well, what's your thoughts on that?
Guys aren't put off by anything. I think that one's subjective. That depends on the person. But girls are okay. I think it's more common for a woman to be dating a man that's been to prison before. I think that's what I'm getting from this. Well, in general, of my general experience, yeah. But men don't want an ex-criminal. It's a bit wild, I think, to say that like a man doesn't want an ex-criminal. Like, what's an ex-criminal? You know
but
what I'm
deep
saying?
down, do you actually think that's a little bit true?
So me personally, I didn't want a partner that's been to prison because I don't want to chat about prison. Yeah? I don't want us to be, for example, sitting at the dinner table and then something reminds us of like prison, like, oh, you remember using the plastic forks and knives and that, or the blue plates, and then we're talking about it. Because I'm just like...
I do get where that comes from.
That's just me personally. I'm not saying that...
But then we would probably...
Yeah,
go on behalf of but on behalf of all the females that have spent time in prison or been affected by the criminal justice system, we would feel, maybe we feel the same. I don't personally. I wouldn't mind if my partner had served time in prison or not. Okay. And we said that ages ago, right? And we both kind of stuck to how we feel on that.
I think it shouldn't be something that, like, obviously I've been in prison, yeah? So,
have you?
Yeah, have I? Have I?
3 times.
3, is it? Oh. So I can't use that to say that's a red flag for me or that's a deal breaker for me.
If you hadn't.
No, because I have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's hypocritical for me to say that, like, I wouldn't give that person a chance, but I'm just saying for my relationship long term, I don't want us to be talking about prison because we talk about prison anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, that's
but
part
if
of
you
the work
hadn't have served time in prison,
why would it? I don't think it would have been.
Would you mind?
I don't think it would be a problem. But I'm not there, so I can't really say that. So, for example, probably the person who's dropped this comment is probably someone that's not been to prison and is like, I don't want my partner to have been to prison.
Well, you don't know. We don't know because this person might have been to prison. However, I think you're right. It is more common for a female to be dating somebody that's been to prison, and maybe it's not as common for a guy to be dating a female that served time in prison. Maybe. So I don't know on this one. Yeah. However, I think we've spoken to a lot of guys that say they would date somebody, Yeah. They would date somebody that's been to prison.
Yeah, that reminds me of the conversation we had with our colleagues at National Prison Radio, Axe and Stephen. And we were talking about this, and one of the things that they said was that, context is everything. What did the person go away for? Are you still involved in that lifestyle, in that criminal lifestyle? And something Axe said that was really good is he puts more focus on the character over the past. So what are you like? What are your good characteristics? What make you who you are? Everyone's different and everyone has different kind of things and baggages and flaws, but it's just about finding what you're okay with, what you're happy with. Because no one's perfect, right? So it's all about finding what's a good fit for you. And he focuses more on what's the person's character like.
I think it's interesting to dive into this comment because we hear it a lot and we see it a lot. And it's so interesting actually going through it as like for me and seeing how people react when I tell them, or if I'm dating somebody and I tell them, and it's just really interesting to go through the process and hearing comments like this, like a guy doesn't want a female. Like deep down inside, I've got that feeling. I have got that feeling. Oh, I don't want to tell a guy. I just don't want the guy to know that I'm dating just yet, or like whatever. Or, how's he going to feel about that? And like, that's actually me going through it. So I don't know, it's interesting going through the process and how I feel about myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't want that to be the case.
Yeah.
But and it won't be, and it's not. And I've had great support through dating and them knowing.
Have you had any what's like been the overwhelming response like when you tell someone that you can?
No one's ever said to me, "Oh, I don't want to date you. You've been to prison." However, I think deep down, sometimes they may not
vocal.
It may not sit 100% with them, or maybe it's a dynamic thing.
Potentially.
Yeah, like
because I think
some form of dynamic.
Because we were talking about it the other day, and it was like almost a comparison. I think it was producer Beth. Producer Beth mentioned sometimes a comparison with like if a man's partner makes more money than him, like he might feel a type of way.
Yeah.
That kind of, it was compared to something like that, right?
Yeah, so I don't know what to call it. Not a dominance thing, but like a...
What could we phrase that as?
I don't know, because it's just so interesting to actually go through the process.
Okay.
And
do you see a dynamic shift? Do you see something change? Like,
I wouldn't say an automatic shift.
Okay.
I would just say maybe they're still trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Or maybe they deep down... I don't know, just trying to figure it out.
You know what? So in my experience, women are more straightforward. Yeah. So, by the way, I've spent time in prison. Some are like, all right, thanks. See you later. Not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Straight away. And I'm like, all right, cool. Some are like, okay, so are you still involved? Do you still do this? Do that? They want to find out a bit more about where you are now. Yeah. And then some are like, well, what are you doing now with yourself? So I've had like kind of the whole.
I think with me, it's more. I think my experience is it's something that maybe is thought about over time, or I've never had somebody go, okay, you've been to prison. No,
well, that's
not
good
for me.
then. That's good.
Of course, but I think maybe it takes a little while to sink
Maybe
in.
it takes a while for it to like digest.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's interesting to talk about it because I still think the general feeling about is this comment. I do think the reason why I wanted to discuss it is because, did you read it out?
Yeah.
Is because I think that's still a general thought about it. But yeah, it's not the case.
Yeah. But it's interesting to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so another comment. I wouldn't be put off. Everyone deserves another chance. They don't deserve you if they judge you.
Straight.
Yeah, and I think
firstly, big up yourself for that comment. Whoever you are, big up yourself.
We wanted to throw this one in there because it is true, as in when we're looking to be with somebody in a relationship or even a friendship, we've got to look at relationships like friendships as well. If my friends were judging me on that, then they're definitely not my friend and they shouldn't be my friend. Yeah. It's the same as relationships.
Judging you negatively.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can get a positive judgment. Like, look, in spite of being in prison, she's come out and she's doing great stuff and this is the person who she is and this is her character and she's smashing life. That's a good judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because from that experience, so many positive things have come from that. Do you get what I'm saying? But if it's a negative thing like, she's been in jail, I want to be around her. Do one. You shouldn't be my friend.
And that's the same in relationships.
Correct. Because see, for me, the reason why I can brush it off when someone says, that's not for me. That's cool. You don't even know who I am.
I do think it gets a little bit different though. There is there's something a little bit different when it comes to relationships sometimes. Romantic relationships sometimes. And I feel like you think about it that little bit more. What
if the person's been to prison? I hear that. But
and it affects you just that little bit more. I hear that.
But you didn't even ask me what I went away for. You didn't even ask me what my offence was.
We're talking about two different things though.
No, but I'm just saying, for example, like when someone tells me it's not for me,
right. They haven't even heard.
They don't even know any
so deep, isn't it?
So I'm just like, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. I'm heartbroken. I don't care because you don't know anything about me. I've just tried to like be forthcoming.
That's where like this whole, like the stigma and the judgment is still so poignant.
Yep. What? That's the word of the day.
I think I've heard. I think I've heard you say it before.
Poignant.
That's where it's come from.
That's really good.
That's not from Jules's vocabulary.
We're going to add that,
Zach's vocabulary.
Someone please put that on the screen. Poignant.
Poignant.
That was good. No, that was good. But yeah, so sorry. So like if they care about you, they shouldn't be put off, you know?
Yeah.
And that's true. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I just think people think about it that little bit more when it comes to relationships.
Yeah. And again, just to go back to what the boy said, context is everything.
Yeah,
you know,
of
what
course.
was happening in your life at the time, how are things now? What is your life like now? What was your life like then? You know what I'm saying? How have you managed to like be on the path? All of that stuff matters, I think, especially when it comes to that. So yeah, definitely, I agree wholeheartedly. Then there's one that's just, I love these wild ones, yeah, that are just like statements. I don't want any ex-convict. That's our next comment. I don't want any ex-convict.
I mean, the reason, so fair enough.
Yeah.
But like, what does that even mean? Like, what do you think is just an ex-convict? Because first of all, let's change this word.
Yeah, I know. The whole phrase is like, it's an othering. It's like ex-convicts are like a different kind of form.
And they've all done this thing because every ex-convict, every single person that's been to prison is in for their, no story is the same.
What if it was for like missing council tax payments?
But no,
or for your kid bunking off school. Are you really?
But no story is the same either.
Precisely,
so like everyone's journey is so different and everyone's reason is so different. Why are we putting this in like its own box?
Yeah, it's
literally.
It's multifaceted. There's loads of it's context again. Everything's different.
And as somebody that has been to prison, reading that, it's not nice. It's not nice to read.
It's not.
It's not a nice thing to hear.
For me as well, why this comment's I say the comment's a bit dangerous, yeah, is because like if you replace ex-convict, you can replace that with anything. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want any blah, blah. I don't want any...
Which, that's why I say fair enough.
And then...
Because it's a strong opinion, but it's an opinion.
No, fair enough. That's your opinion, yeah? But I mean, where it gets dangerous is you can replace ex-convict with anything else and people could just be posting these things out there. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for example, I don't want any woman that wears makeup. Do you get what I'm saying? Or I don't want...
Yeah, but that's fair enough.
I hear that, but I mean, where's the context? What does that mean? Like, how can you just drop that statement and that's it?
Well, the convict thing is that there is not one type of convict.
But what I'm saying is you're tarnishing a whole group of people with one brush.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like, what does that really mean about human interaction? What does that really mean about...
But I think when we're putting this stuff like online out there, it's fueling the stigma and it's feeding it. It's like, yes, there are convicts. Yes, there are criminals and there are non-criminals. Well, yes, but it's just somebody has, gone to prison for something and somebody else hasn't.
But watch this now. So another thing that when the guys that our colleagues at National Prison Radio, Axe and Stephen, were talking about is, okay, cool, you don't want any ex-convict, but what about someone who's been committing offences but hasn't been caught?
Yeah.
Are they better than someone who's been to prison? Like, do you know what I'm saying? We don't know. You never know. And how many people that are ex-convict do you walk past every day or interact with every day? You don't know. So to say that, that's what I think is a bit wild. Like, you're someone that maybe serves you at your local Tesco or Asda or wherever may have been to prison, maybe an ex-convict that you get on so well with, maybe your bus driver, maybe...
But then you've had a great conversation with them and then you're viewing them as a great person.
Precisely.
So, yeah, this is, I think, well, especially just how many incredible relationships we've both built in prison.
Yeah.
It's like there are some really great people that have unfortunately served time in prison.
Yeah.
Or, not unfortunately have served time in prison. But yeah, I just think they are wild. You said these are wild. They are wild comments, but they are everywhere still, and they are so common.
It's
still.
a realistic perspective. It's out there, and there's views that are. There's many people that agree with that. You know, there's many people that agree with that, but there's also many people that disagree with that as well.
Of course.
So yeah, I'm just glad we're part of the debate, and I'm just glad that overwhelmingly the comments and supporters are not with this comment.
Yeah, of course, and we have such great support. And yeah, we're grateful for everybody that listens and tunes in and that interacts with us and gets involved, because yeah, you guys are amazing.
Yeah, man. It's great support. That's what it is. So we've just been discussing and responding to comments on social media. We've talked about a few, Jules. What's next?
This one says, I don't agree with anyone that will be put off with you going to prison. Not everyone that went to prison is a criminal.
Big facts.
Yeah. Well, so these are comments responding to people, you know, that we've just...
Yeah.
The comments that we've just spoken about.
Yeah.
So obviously you got people here that... don't agree with what people are saying.
Yeah, there's a few back and forths in the comments, yeah, that I noticed. There's a few people saying, well, really, nah, I think you're chatting crap, basically. And another person saying, blah, blah, blah. So yeah,
but also,
it goes off.
Not everyone that went to prison is a criminal.
Big facts.
Is a criminal, because I've spoken to females in there that really just did something so stupid.
Yeah, like...
and didn't mean to be in that position.
Yeah, there's some things that's like, you made a mistake. Are you really obviously, yeah, you've been convicted, but are you really a criminal? No, you ain't been you like, for example, there's a phrase called career criminal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a career criminal if you just made...
Or a prolific offender.
Yeah, if you just made one mistake, like, you're not. And sometimes some people are in prison for being with someone who's committed an offence. So, you know...
And had no idea about it.
Precisely.
Some people are generally just made a silly mistake.
Precisely.
But as soon as you get that sentence, and as soon as you're in prison, you are all just tarnished with the same brush, like you said earlier.
Yeah. But also, you may have been remanded and then been acquitted at a trial. So you're not a criminal.
Yeah,
but you've been to prison.
But you served time in prison.
Do you get what? So
yeah.
So yeah, that's facts.
But also, yeah, I think there's two things there. There's people that actually didn't do it.
Yep.
Didn't mean to, or like had no idea about it and didn't do it. There's some people that, are they actually a criminal because they made a mistake, or they didn't know the extent of what's going on, or they're surrounded by the wrong people and something happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you look at it like this, that if you're put off with just anybody going to prison, then you haven't understood the story. Like you were talking about earlier, if you're chatting to somebody and they're like, don't want to know because you've been to prison, they haven't even given you a chance.
Precisely.
Which is a bit sad, isn't it?
I think it's more a reflection on that other person. You know?
Yeah.
Like it says more about that person than you or you or me, like people that have been to prison. Because if that's how you see things, then cool, mate. Your life or your worldview is different. But whoever made this comment, one, you're very open-minded, which I really like. And two, like, what I want to understand is what makes someone so understanding about this? How does someone say, I don't agree because not everyone that's been to prison is a criminal? How do you get to that understanding if you've never been to prison? That's what I want to know.
Through being open-minded.
Okay.
And through, this is what I believe, through people having their own experience of it, family members inside, friends, maybe they're studying it, maybe they're in that world of criminal law or something like that. But I think, yeah, when you're super open-minded and you look at both kind of sides and you look at things holistically, or you look at things, it's holistically the right word?
Yeah.
You look at, you'll look at all sides.
Yeah.
Because there's things that me and you haven't experienced, but we might not have one judgment on it or one side. This is why I find it wild. I don't know whether it's because I've been to prison and I have no idea how I would view the situation if I haven't been to prison.
No, I hear you. But look, so before I went to prison, I've had friends that have been to prison,
Yeah.
you know? And in my experience, it was just that my boy has gone away. I ain't seen him for a bit and now he's back. Like, he's still my boy. Nothing's changed. That's how I saw it. So until obviously I've gone inside and I've seen the other side, like, raw, this is what my boy was going through. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't see them as different. There was no, it was just, oh, welcome back. My boy's back. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know how someone can think this person's a write-off or this person's that or X, Y, Z negative.
So I never even thought about prison people being write-offs. I used to be really, I used to be quite interested in it. And my sister studied law as well. Okay. So I was quite, my family had like, they'd always like to have like discussions about it and understand things. So I think I was only ever like interested, like how things ever like turned out. But I never really knew many people that went to prison, so I didn't really think about it that much. Yeah. But now I find it wild how people don't know, or they make such a judgment on it and don't know much about it. But yeah. What's the next comment?
So next one is a bit more of like a personal anecdote, yeah? So someone dropped it, and I think this one was from Instagram. I think the majority of what we've been talking about were from TikTok, right? But this comment specifically was from Insta. And this person says, my wife and family were definitely wary of me. And the stigma that you get once you've been associated with other criminals, yeah? And I say other criminals. I then had to talk to them to explain that, you know, everyone's human and how can, and everyone has a backstory, but how can like I expect to be accepted back into society if I can't do the same with others, right? So you got to look at people as human. You've got to like treat everybody as human and look into who they are as a person. That's the essence.
Yeah.
And from what I'm understanding from this, and hopefully this person can correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm understanding is, well, at the beginning, the family was wary. His wife and their family was wary of him and his association with other people, right? But if you're not a part of that life anymore, from my experience, that can't really affect things prolifically or seriously going forward. I get there's apprehension, especially if you've been involved in like serious organized crime or like serious offenses, I get it. But if that's not a part of someone's life anymore, you've got to see what they're doing now, how they live their life now, who are their associations now. But at the same time, I get it because, for example, like if you've got a daughter and then, you know, her new partner is someone that's been to prison, you're going to be concerned, without a doubt. If they've been to prison, you might be concerned. You want to find out, what did the person go away for? Again, context is everything. What are they like now?
I don't think naturally you're always just going to be concerned though.
Personally, I would. For example, if I know it's like for my experience, I'm talking from my experience
I think initial thoughts is what for? Or like,
that's why I'm saying context is key.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if someone's been, like for me, I've been away 3 times, right? I've been involved in like loads of different things and like street life I'm talking as well. Forget like just being to prison, street life as well can affect your life, certain things that you're involved in. So I understand that there can be concern. Yeah. That's why I think what he's saying is right. You've got to understand everyone's human and has a backstory. There's context. There's a story. What was their life like? What were they going through? What is it like now? And everyone's human. But if you accept me now, because you can see I'm with your daughter and your family accepts me, you should be able to accept everyone else. Right?
I view it as in like, it's a worry that like the people that you've been associated with in prison, you're like automatically thinking that they're just bad people. So, and I kind of like, I had that feeling a few times since being out, not anymore, but like sometimes I feel like it, but you know, because I've been to prison and I'm, you know, with these, like with somebody or whatever, that their people are going to think, do you know what I mean? Something because I've been to prison. Yeah. Like, maybe don't associate with, like, I think especially when I first got out, and I was like around people, like people's mums and dads, I'd be thinking, oh, they think I'm a bad person. Like, oh, they don't want me to be around there. It wasn't the case. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it probably was, but yeah, I have that feeling.
You know what?
So that's a feeling.
You know what? I've brushed that away, you know.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Because it's waste of energy.
Yeah, it is. It does take a lot. It consumes a lot of energy because now I'm just like, I'm so past that.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think, now I am. But I remember having that feeling.
Yeah. And, you brought it back. Because I used to think about, no, it's good because it shows me that there's progress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not even a thought anymore.
So that's a feeling you had, yeah?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, like you're seeing, I used to see like some of my friends' mum, they're like, oh, you're out, yeah? Yeah, man, stay out this time. And that used to bug me, stay out this time.
Yeah.
I know I have to. Like, I know I have to. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but like, oh, it's good to see you out here. Now I don't get that anymore. It's like, yeah, what's happening? What's going on? It's good. You're all right.
Yeah.
Which is good. So I get that. And that must be very frustrating. So like, I get it if someone's going through that, like experiencing that right now. I understand, man. That's a bit frustrating. But like, this reminds me again of our conversation with our colleagues, at National Prison Radio. And they were saying that some of the nicest people they've ever met have been in prison.
Yeah.
And I responded to that and I was like, some of my closest friends to this day are people that I met in prison.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like that you can meet so many nice people who are in prison and a mix of characters. So like having that criminal association, sometimes it's not a bad thing, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's some really good people inside.
Definitely.
Do we have any more?
Yeah, we've got one more that I want to talk about.
Oh, I know it. Yeah. Okay, I know which one you want to talk about.
You know what it is.
Yep.
And I think they're talking about you.
I think they are, Zach. I really do.
And they said she looks like a convict.
Yeah. Deep.
She looks like whoever you are.
Which is wild. Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because the majority of people that have ever, not to say this, what does a convict look like, right? But majority of people that know I've been to prison or find out or I tell, they go, no. So to read that was a bit like, oh, that's the first time I've really heard it.
I'm going to say, I think they're chatting-ish. Absolute rubbish. She looks like a convict. Because Jules, remember when we first met, I asked you, have you?
No.
Remember? Because I was like, you ain't been. I'm just saying. But then that sparks a wider conversation. Like you said, what is a convict? Who is a convict? What does a convict look like?
It was just the first time I've heard something like that.
No, and that's fair.
But also, it just makes me think, what does a convict look like?
And you know what a convict looks like?
Maybe it was my look.
No, a convict looks like every person you walk past in the street, because anybody.
Yeah, anyone could be. But also, it was just interesting to read. It was interesting.
I think it's rude. Yeah, because if someone said, yeah, he looks like he's been in jail, that's rude.
It is a little bit rude.
Because you can't walk up to someone and be like, yeah, you look like you've been in jail. Huh?
Oh, well.
That's rude. That's so bad. That's bad, man. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Is what it is.
But what does a convict look like?
Yeah, I think that's what we wanted to discuss. What does a convict look like? Because if you see my first prison photo where I just got off the Serco van and they take a quick snapshot really late at night, my hair's everywhere, and I've got that picture actually. You'd probably think, yeah, she looks like a criminal.
No, you know what? I've got mugshots, yeah, that have ended up in newspapers and things like that get taken at the police station. But you know what they do? They hold you at the police station for 3 days where you're not sleeping or eating, right? Yeah. And then they take it at like 3 a.m. in the morning, wake you up. It's the worst picture of your life.
And I think that's what we associate with what a criminal looks like, is that kind of that first photo. And yeah, if that's what we're saying a criminal looks like, then that photo does, right?
No, it just looks like someone who's going through something serious.
Yeah.
Yeah? And unfortunate.
It does.
Why don't you put my best picture in the newspaper?
That's so sad.
Why don't you do that?
Oh, someone's going through a really hard time.
Yeah.
That
Why don't
picture
you
just
put
says
a
it all.
picture where it's a happy time? I'm smiling. Huh?
But you are right. Anybody can look like they've been to prison.
Precisely.
I've seen so many different kind of faces inside, and just never would have thought it.
Yeah. So what a person that been to a convict looks like? An everyday, normal, average human being. That's what they look like. Yeah, because anybody has the potential to go inside, and anyone that's been inside is a human being. So that's what a convict looks like. How about that? Innit?
Are you right?
Yeah, I've had my moment.
Okay. Have we got any more comments?
You know what? We'll leave it there.
Okay.
We'll leave it there for now. But as ever, we want you guys to continue the conversation, to keep getting in touch, to keep this conversation flowing. Please give us your input, your insights, your perspectives, because we love to hear them and we love to be part of the conversation and we want to keep it flowing. So as ever, you can get in touch with us by DMing us, hitting us up in the comments, at YouTube as well. So search Life After Prison on YouTube, but also on our socials at After Prison Pod. That's for Instagram and X. And for TikTok, it's at Life After Prison Pod. But you can also get involved with us in the conversation and email. You can email us at podcast@prison.radio. And if you're listening on NPR, you can get in touch via the usual way.
And of course, we like to signpost organisations that may help you. So the organisation we're spotlighting today is Spark to Life. They offer mentoring and workshops to help young people and adults make positive life changes. We will put all of this in the show notes. So
and we'll add a couple more in there too, so you can check them out too. So yeah, as ever, thank you, Jules. I love this one. This was really good. We should do it again.
We should.
Should definitely do it again.
We really should.
Yeah.
And if there's anything you want to see, let us know.
Yeah. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.